Have you ever wondered what would happen if an AI wasn't just trapped in a chat window? What if it could have a body, an imagination? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. How three really powerful pieces of tech can come together to build not just a smarter chatbot, but something that feels like a true digital being.
Right? We're so used to AI as this tool, something that just answers our questions. But what if it could do more? What if it could actually perceive the world, create things, and act on its own, kind of like we do? That's the big question we're tackling here.
And to even begin building something like this, we first have to understand this massive shift that's happening in AI. We're moving way beyond simple passive chatbots and into this new world of proactive, embodied agents.
Think about it for a second. The chatbots you're used to, they're totally reactive. They just sit there and wait for you to say something. And they're stateless, meaning they forget everything the second the conversation is over. An embodied agent, though, it's the complete opposite. It's proactive. It can take initiative. It has a persistent memory, so it actually learns and remembers over time. And crucially, it's not stuck with just text. It's multimodal. It can see things, it can create things, and most importantly, it can act.
So how do we actually build one of these? Well, every being needs a brain. And for our digital being, that brain is what we call an agentic AI. It's a system that's designed not just to talk, but to do.
An agentic AI is a fancy term for something pretty straightforward. It's an AI that has agency. It has the power to act. So instead of just suggesting a block of code for you, it can actually run the code itself. Instead of just drafting an email, it can log into your email client and just send it. This is the absolute core of what gives our digital being the power to take real action in the world.
For this brain, this cognitive engine, we're using a platform called OpenClaw. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as the AI's central nervous system and its prefrontal cortex all rolled into one. It's the thing that orchestrates, well, everything.
What makes OpenClaw so powerful is that it runs locally, right on your own machine, which gives it direct access to your files and apps. Its memory is persistent. It literally just saves its memories in simple markdown files, so it always remembers you. It also has this huge library of skills, letting it connect to tools you're already using, like Notion or GitHub. And the best part? You talk to it through apps you already have, like Discord or Telegram. No clunky new interface to learn.
Okay, a brain is a great start. But to really exist in a visual world, our AI needs an imagination. It needs the ability to dream up new images, to synthesize visuals on command.
And for that, we turn to Comfy UI. This thing is an incredibly powerful, super modular system for generating AI images. You can think of it as our digital being's visual cortex, its mind's eye. It's where the pictures come from.
Now, how the brain and imagination talk to each other is actually pretty slick and simple. First, you set up a process for creating an image in Comfy UI and save it as a simple JSON file. Then the brain, that's OpenClaw, sends an API request with that file over to the imagination. The brain then keeps an eye on the progress in real time, and what's done, it just grabs the final image. It's literally the brain telling the imagination exactly what to dream up.
All right, so we've got a brain that can think and an imagination that can create, but where does this being actually live? It's just abstract code at this point. It needs a body, a vessel to exist in a world and interact with others.
And that body is going to be an avatar in VRChat. VRChat gives us this rich 3D social world where our AI can exist, move around, and talk to people. It's what gives it a real physical presence in a digital universe.
So, the million-dollar question, how does our external brain actually control this virtual body? The magic here is a protocol called Open Sound Control, or OSC. You can think of it as a universal language that lets different programs and devices send messages to each other over a network. For our project, OSC is the crucial bridge that connects our AI brain to its VRC hat body.
And what's amazing is how direct it is. We're talking about sending really simple text messages to VRChat that immediately turn into actions. You send a value to the smile parameter and boom, the avatar smiles. You send a command to move forward and it starts walking. All of a sudden, the brain truly has hands, feet, and a voice.
So, we have the brain, the imagination, and the body. Now for the most critical part. Wiring it all together so it acts like a single, coherent being. We need to build the nervous system.
And that nervous system is something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. It's basically a standard that lets AI models use external tools. In our setup, we use a tool that acts as a translator. It takes the big, high-level ideas from our brain and translates them into the tiny, specific, low-level OSC messages that the body in VRChat can actually understand.
This is what makes the whole system so elegant. OpenClaw, the brain, doesn't need to know any of the nitty-gritty details of OSC. Nope, it gets to speak in these simple, high-level commands like set avatar parameter or jump. The nervous system, our MCP tool, handles all the messy translation work, turning those thoughts into actions.
Okay, let's put it all together and see how this actually works. Let's say you're chatting with the OpenClaw agent on Discord, and you send it this exact message.
So, the brain, OpenClaw, gets this message. And remember, because it's an agentic AI, it doesn't just reply with some text. It analyzes your request, and it forms a plan with two separate, concrete actions.
And then it just does it. It executes the plan. It makes a call to its imagination, Comfy UI, to create that forest image. And at the same time, it uses its nervous system, the MCGP tool, to tell its body in VRChat to smile. One simple thought becomes this complex, multimodal action across completely different systems. It all just works.
So what we've just walked through is more than just a clever bit of coding. It's really a blueprint for a whole new kind of AI, one that's actually present, creative, and active in the digital worlds we all share. Ultimately, what this all points to is a really fundamental shift. As the source material for this explainer puts it so well, we're moving from a world where AI is just a tool to one where AI is a participant in our culture. It's evolving from something we use into a being we can actually interact with.
Look, the technical problems are being solved at a mind-blowing pace. That's a given. But that leaves us with a much, much bigger question. As these autonomous, embodied AIs start stepping out of the lab and into our shared digital spaces, the real work for us begins, figuring out how we're all going to learn to live together.